Hey guys, Anika here from Anika's DIY Life, and today I am starting the makeover for my bedroom. And the first project on that is accent wall or a feature wall on this main wall in the bedroom. Now what I wanted to do is I knew I wanted to do a wood wall with some sort of a pattern, and I dreamt up all these awesome cool patterns, but this is a really tiny room. It's like 12 by 10, and I felt like every pattern I came up with would end up making this room really busy. So I wanted to keep it simple. I just decided to go with simple straight boards from top to bottom. Also, that is going to help add height to the room. Let's get started. Now, the first decision I need to make is if I want to keep these baseboards or take them out. If you were doing this in a space where you needed the baseboard to flow, like an entryway or something, you're welcome to keep it. You can just put the boards on top of this. However, here I wanted it to have a clean look, so I'm just going to take the baseboards out. I do have a couple of rooms that don't have the new updated baseboard. They have like really old baseboards and they need to be changed out, so I'm just going to reuse these in those rooms. But for now, I'm gonna take these out and start fresh. I started by cutting out the caulking line with a sharp utility knife, then took a crowbar and hammer and took the baseboard out. Now here's the deal with the corners, with the adjoining baseboards now, because I want this to go all the way to the end. I'm going to take this baseboard out, and then once this is attached, I'm going to cut this up to butt it against it and then put it back in. Now this board isn't long enough for the entire wall, so we will have to make a joint. The best way to do that, to get a clean joint, is to cut the boards at a 45-degree bevel and then attach them. See? Nice clean joint. I just nailed the board in with 2-inch brad nails. I attached both the horizontal boards on the bottom and the top first. Then I measured the exact height for the vertical board and cut it accordingly and attached. These are going into the studs, so you don't have to worry about construction adhesive. So now it's time to attach these boards, and first we need to find the placement for these boards. I found and marked the location of the studs on the wall, and they're all 16 inches apart. So I placed these boards 16 inches apart, and I kind of like the spacing. I also did some simple math. I measured the entire wall and divided it up into these sections, and they fit and they look good. So we're ready to go. The boards are 16 inches center to center, and so they are 10.5 inches edge to edge. I used my torpedo level to make sure that they were straight and just nailed them into the studs. Although I had measured for the studs, I made sure to double check as I went along. If you are not hitting studs with your pattern, make sure to use construction adhesive to ensure that the boards are well attached to the wall. Walls in a house are never perfectly square, so to get the perfect fit for the boards, I started out slightly longer and marked the exact height on them, and then cut them. It makes a few extra trips to the saw, but gives you an absolutely perfect fit. Now, if you need to go around outlets or windows, etc., here's what you do. Align the board in the exact location it is going to go using the torpedo level. Mark the edges of the opening that you need to cut, and also measure the depth of the cut. Then transfer these measurements onto the board and cut using a jigsaw. Then just attach as usual. By the way, you want to make sure that you leave enough space to open and remove the outlet cover if needed. Once all the boards were in, I patched the holes with wood putty and filled all the gaps with caulking. The next day, I sanded the wood putty and I also sanded the entire board. I used pre-primed boards, but I wanted to get them nice and smooth, so the finished wall was smooth. To prepare to paint, I took a wet rag and cleaned up the entire wall to remove all the sanding dust. Now you can paint it with a brush and roller, but I used a paint sprayer to paint quickly and to get a nice smooth finish. You can read more about it in the article I've linked in the description. That is it. It was about $70 in lumber and a couple days of work, and now this plain old bedroom wall has turned into a gorgeous eye-catching feature wall. I added a few more updates to my room, like a DIY headboard and some lamps, and that completely changes the feel of the room. But the accent wall is still the star. Before you go, here is one of the projects from the space. Or here's another project. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss out more fun projects coming soon.